Hello, students. I am Kelene Blake. I will be your professor for KINE 4310, which is African Americans in Sports. I have taught this class several times over the years. I'm an adjunct teacher at Houston-Tillotson University, which means I only teach part-time. I'm just brought in to teach certain classes. Otherwise, I am full-time as an executive director of a local nonprofit organization here in Austin and Central Texas. I'm also a doctoral student doing my doctorate in public health in the concentration of health equity and social justice at Johns Hopkins University. So pleased to meet you. I am looking forward to being in this learning space with you. Welcome to African Americans in Sports. We are going to discuss the syllabus and get ready for the semester. So some syllabus highlights. This class is an asynchronous virtual course, which means all the materials are pre-recorded and you are able to access the class, access the course in your own schedule. Although it's asynchronous, there are going to be weekly expectations that require you to keep up with the course materials. And for communication, I would like to ask all of you to get onto the Remind app for this class. So you would go to remind.com. Details are in the syllabus on Canvas. And you will type in this course, which is at KINE 4310KB. So that app will allow you to text me directly to my phone, and it is the fastest way to get in touch with me. So that will be a requirement. In general, communications with me in order of preference and the best ways to contact me are sending me a text via the Remind app or sending me an email to kblake@htu.edu. You can also use the Canvas inbox. I will not be checking that as often as email, and I will not be checking email as often as Remind. So those are the best ways to contact me. In general, for communications, I have some guidelines. Always communicate with me professionally, even if it is a text or an email. Always communicate professionally. There are detailed instructions in the syllabus and a link to an article about professional email etiquette. So use this as a learning opportunity because professional communication is a requirement with me. Some class details. Each week's topic and lectures are laid out on the course homepage. The lectures are presented by pre-recorded videos like this one. Each week, there's a discussion post or a short quiz on the lecture content. That will allow me to know that you are keeping up weekly with the work. All assignments and discussion posts are required and must be completed by the deadline provided. This course does not have a final exam. Instead, it has a final project and a final paper. There is a midterm exam, but do not expect to have to take a final exam because you have a project and a paper to turn in instead. Although this course is asynchronous, students are expected to keep up with the weekly course lectures, discussions, assignments, and quizzes. It is the student's responsibility to visit Canvas regularly, watch the recorded lectures and videos provided, read any required readings, keep track and complete assignments in a timely manner. All deadlines are non-negotiable. That is how we're going to keep ourselves accountable for this asynchronous course. My grading is pretty straightforward. Any quizzes, assignments, participation, project presentation, and final paper, all of them amount to 20%. So over the course of the semester, you're going to have a variety of activities that are going to all have a significant impact on your grade. In preparation for this course, I like to give my students some mindset and learning tips so that we all are on the same page and folks are able to grow and learn in ways beyond just getting information. So here are the mindset and learning tips for this course. First off, locus of control. There's this concept of locus of control, which is the belief that control over your life events and changes come primarily from outside of oneself, which is an external locus of control, or from inside or within yourself, an internal locus of control. We each may have a different position on this range. Think of the locus of control as a range. Some of us may lean more towards an internal locus, and some of us may lean towards more of an external locus. But it is very important to understand that your locus of control is strongly tied to your motivation. So we're going to check out this video that connects the concept of locus of control and motivation.
A study was conducted in 1998 at Columbia University by a Professor Claudia M. Mueller. She took a large group of fifth graders and had them work on numerous puzzles by themselves. Now, these were very challenging puzzles, but regardless of how well each child did, he or she was told that they scored very well, that they did better than most of the other kids. Afterwards, half of these students were told that they scored high because they worked hard, while the other half were told that it was all because they were smart and gifted. Then they presented each student with 3 more types of puzzles to work on: easy ones, medium difficulty ones, and extremely challenging ones. And what they found was very interesting. The students who were told that they did well because they were smart spent the majority of their time on the easy puzzles. They spent almost no time on the extremely challenging puzzles and spent much less time overall trying to solve any of the puzzles, which was a sign of lower levels of motivation. And to top it all off, when asked whether or not they enjoyed the experiment, they said that it wasn't that fun for them. On the other hand, the students who were told that they did well because they worked hard spent the majority of their time focused on the harder puzzles. They also spent a lot more time overall attempting to solve any of the puzzles, which was a sign of an increase in levels of motivation. And to top it all off, after the experiment, they said that they actually enjoyed the entire experience. So what can we learn from this study? Well, there's a concept called the locus of control, which is essentially the degree to which you believe you have control over your life. The kids who were told that they did well because they were smart and gifted were led to believe in what's called an external locus of control. They were led to believe that factors outside of what they could control were the reason they did well, right? You can't control whether or not you're born smart. On the other hand, the kids who were told they did well because they worked hard started to believe in what's called an internal locus of control. They believed that it was factors they controlled that led to their outcomes. It was their hard work and their extra effort that allowed them to do well on the puzzles, right? Because how much work you put into something is something that you have complete control over. Now, studies on the locus of control like this one have found time and time again that having an internal locus of control is the key to staying motivated. You must feel like you have control over your life and that you are responsible for the things that happen to you if you want to feel motivated all of the time. I saw this happen with my own eyes back in the day when I was in charge of a sales team. This wasn't retail sales or car sales. This was old school door-to-door sales, which has one of the highest turnover rates. Most people only last a week before quitting. See, you need to be an extremely motivated individual to be able to face hundreds and hundreds of rejections every single day before someone even considers buying something from you. Now, over time, I was able to develop a keen eye for who would actually last, who I should spend more time and energy training. All I had to do was ask a simple question when a new salesperson on my team was confronted with their first bad day, a day in which they made no sales. I would ask them, "Why do you think you made no sales today?" And I would see how they would respond. If they blamed things like the weather, the fact that it's a weekend and nobody wants to be bothered on the weekends, or because it was the neighborhood, I would instantly know that they wouldn't last because they had an external locus of control. They believed that the reason they couldn't make any sales was because of factors outside of their control. And because of this, they spent less time knocking on doors, which was ultimately the real reason why they weren't making any sales. That's the curse of having an external locus of control. When you feel like nothing you do matters, you stop working, you stop trying. Because what's the point of trying when the world's conspiring against you, right? So how do we adopt an internal locus of control so that we can start feeling motivated all of the time? Well, they found that the best way to do so is by simply solving problems in your own life and then taking some time and appreciating the fact that it was your actions that solved this problem. I'll give you an example just to make things more clear. Let's say you're someone who struggles with falling asleep. So you go do some research and you find out if you get some more sunlight in the morning, if you only use your bed for sleeping, and if you install a blue light filter on your phone, that should drastically increase your ability to sleep faster when bedtime comes around. You do all of those things and lo and behold, you find yourself sleeping 15 minutes faster than before. When you notice this improvement, you need to say to yourself, wow, it was because of the changes I made, because of the effort I put in that I am now able to sleep better. It's that simple. Build up that belief that you are in control of your destiny, that you have an internal locus of control, and you will never have issues with motivation in your life again.
So why am I teaching about locus of control in a class about African Americans in sports? First off, we are at the start of the semester. This is an asynchronous class, and I want my students to be successful. So it is really important for you to develop an internal locus of control so you can have the motivation to keep up with the class. But also, I need you to understand that your grade in this class is a direct reflection of the work you put in. I don't give you a grade. You get a grade based on what you produce and what you do. So that is a key factor for all of you to keep in mind around being successful in this class. So you would see on this slide, there is a link to a test that will help you to understand your own current level of, or your own current type of locus of control. Please go take that test. That is a part of your initial activities for this class. Our next topic is mindset. In this class, we address some challenging topics, and hopefully there's a lot of growth and learning. However, growth and learning is truly dependent on your own mindset as the person coming into this course. So folks can have two general types of mindsets, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Someone with a fixed mindset just believes things are what they are and are not going to change. And that impacts how they approach things. So someone with a fixed mindset may only think of themselves as being good at only certain things, as opposed to someone with a growth mindset. They're like, okay, I'm new at this. I'm not good at it yet, but I know I can get better. Right? Someone with a fixed mindset may give up when things get hard because it's too hard. Whereas a person with a growth mindset may think, I will try until I get results. I can get better at it. Fixed mindset people may hate challenges, while growth mindset folks may embrace challenges. The fixed mindset folks may take feedback and criticism personally, whereas someone with a growth mindset, they welcome feedback and criticism because it helps them, it gives them the information they need to improve. And a fixed mindset person may not like doing what they don't know, whereas someone with a growth mindset, they would like learning about new things they don't know. So in this class, I would like for folks to approach it with a growth mindset. We will all be starting at different levels, especially talking about challenging topics that we do in this class. So I would encourage you to focus on having a growth mindset. Here's another video that is going to give you a little more insight of the importance of a growth mindset and what a fixed and growth mindset are.
Did you know there's a powerful relationship between what we believe about how we learn and our actual achievement? Dr. Carol Dweck studies students' beliefs about intelligence. What she found is that students generally hold one of two very different beliefs about intelligence. Some students have what she calls a fixed mindset. This is the belief that intelligence is a fixed trait that doesn't change much. So like eye color, these students believe you're born with a certain amount of intelligence and there's not much you can do to change it. Other students have a very different belief about intelligence. They have a growth mindset. They see intelligence more like a muscle. They understand that when you put in effort, you can get smarter. What we now know from study after study is that the more students have a growth mindset and believe that they can grow their intelligence, the better they do in school. Students with a growth mindset do better in school because they approach learning differently than students with a fixed mindset. For students with a fixed mindset, their goal in school is to show how smart they are, or hide how dumb they think they are. This makes sense, right? If you think you're just born smart or dumb, you want to make sure you show that you are smart. So this makes fixed mindsetters much less likely to ask questions in class or seek out help from peers or teachers, because that would involve showing that they don't know something. Students with a growth mindset, on the other hand, have the goal to learn, so they're more likely to ask a question if they don't understand, or to seek out help, or try a new strategy if they are struggling. When it comes to the amount of effort you have to put forth, students with a fixed mindset and students with a growth mindset see that differently as well. Those with a fixed mindset actually see effort as proof of low ability. They think that if you have to try hard, that means you aren't very smart. Whereas students with a growth mindset see effort as the way that you get smarter. How students react when they are faced with a challenge or setback in their learning is what really differentiates those with a fixed mindset and those with a growth mindset. Students with a fixed mindset will think that they are not smart and will likely give up on a task. Those with a growth mindset tend to work harder because they see it as an opportunity to learn and grow their intelligence. So if we can all grow our intelligence, are we saying that all students have equal ability? We aren't saying that everyone has the same level of intelligence. Having a growth mindset doesn't mean that you believe everyone has equal ability in every subject matter. It also doesn't mean that we believe some students aren't more talented in certain subjects than others. It means that you believe that no matter where a person is now, they can always improve with effort, good strategies, and help. And that's the number one piece of information you should take away from this lesson. No matter where a person is now, they can always improve with effort, good strategies, and help.
So hopefully you see the value of having a growth mindset. And I always want to encourage my students to develop that so it can help them do really well in this class. What you don't know, you will learn. If you encounter a challenge, you can overcome it. The third thing I want to talk about around mindset and learning tips is this pyramid, which is called the Bloom's taxonomy for learning. It is the basis of the activities and curriculum that I develop. So the pyramid shows different levels of learning and understanding and beyond. And as college students in a 400 level course, I am going to expect us to be operating at the higher levels. So Bloom's taxonomy for learning at the bottom of the pyramid is simply being able to remember, recognize, and recall facts. Going up further is being able to understand what the facts mean. Even further up is the skill of applying the facts, rules, and concepts and ideas. Further up, you're able to use what you've learned to analyze and break down new information into its component parts. even more skillful is to be able to evaluate and to judge the value of information or ideas based on what you have already learned. And finally, you are at the peak skill set when you are able to create, combine parts of what you learned to make a new whole. And that is what we are working with in this class. Every activity is going to involve some level of Bloom's taxonomy for learning. Next, I want to introduce for this class a code of conduct so that you are able to together create an environment where you are able to have meaningful learning and brave conversations. In this class, we address some taboo topics. When I say taboo, I mean a subject, word, or action that is avoided for religious or social reasons. In our case, most of them are social topics that are often avoided in many conversations for social reasons. So the topics we address are things like race, ethnicity, inequity, gender and sexuality, racism, violence, sexism, stigma. And with all these heavy topics, I want to create a learning space where we are able to move through these topics and grow in our understanding and our analysis of them. So to do that, we need a code of conduct so we can have healthy conversations. Even though it's an asynchronous class, discussion forum is going to be a big part of it. And, these topics are important, especially if we're going to be honest and comprehensive of our discussions about African Americans in sport. So I have created the following list. That is our code of conduct for this class. 1, respect. Absolutely, always respect the opinions of others, respect the other people in the class. If you are responding on a discussion, do so with respect. Everyone's voice counts. Again, in the discussion forum, we are going to be respectful and open to everyone's understanding, opinion, point of view, and perception. Throw glitter, not shade. If you are responding or sending a discussion post, then throw glitter, not shade means you want to be affirming in your approach and how you discuss or how you respond or how you talk about the issue. You don't want this to be a space where you throw shade, where you express sarcasm. That's not what we're doing here. We are working on making this a space that is welcoming and we're able to have challenging conversations without being put down. Keep an open mind because we are going to talk about a wide range of touchy topics. So it's important to keep an open mind. I put this one called Afropunk based on the Afropunk festival that used to occur back in the day and then probably still does. On the Afropunk stage, there's always this big banner that says no sexism, no racism, no ableism, no ageism, no homophobia, no fatphobia, no transphobia, no hatefulness. That is the kind of vibe that is important for honest discussions, important learning about difficult topics or taboo topics. So, Afropunk, that is one of the codes of conduct for our class. And then finally, lean into the discomfort. It's how we grow. What do I mean by that? We are going to learn and get on the same page about our understanding of race, racism, ethnicity, racial ideologies, structural racism, critical race theory. There are a lot of topics that are potentially uncomfortable. Sexism, that's another topic that could be potentially uncomfortable. And for folks who have not like been exposed to these type of discussions, that once you start hearing things like that and you start getting uncomfortable, you shut down. That's not how we are going to be able to operate in this class. So for you, I want you to be prepared. If you start to feel uncomfortable about a topic, or if you are uncomfortable about a topic, lean into that discomfort. Try to understand where that discomfort is coming from and address it. A lot of self-reflection, a lot of, open-mindedness can potentially help you move beyond that discomfort into growth. So that's where lean into discomfort comes into play for this course. So our first assignment in this class for this first week is, so all of my students, I would like for you to give me an introduction. You will post in the discussion forum titled Introductions, your name, your major, your year, where you are from, one fact about you, and please share a picture of one thing or person that brings you joy. I want to learn about the human you, not the person on the other side of a computer you, okay? So whatever you are comfortable sharing, okay? If it's your dog or if it's, I don't know, picture of your favorite anime character, whatever it is, I would love to see what brings you joy. So I'm looking forward to learning about you, and I'm really looking forward to doing this class with you. It's one of my favorite classes to teach, and I am so excited that I get to be with y'all this semester.